This is an older unit that can be an absolute monster and an elite nuke with some new skills. This is what HoF Forms was designed to do, and I cannot wait to build this unit. Looking at why you should build these legendaries, this one in particular has one niche, and that is to kill things. And he's very good at it. It's an excellent niche. We'll talk about how he works in, but he's also a great bonus unit. And can I just say, a preference special with damage piercing is amazing. That frees up so many things, namely your B skill. And there are a lot of new ones and good ones to use. Let's go over this unit and this wall of text refine, but I really want you to pay attention to this unit's stats because 59 speed is something. I know this is max investment, but just being able to get that much out of this unit is incredible. This unit is good in arena. We just used him as a bonus unit. He's amazing. This unit is great in summoner duels R and S. This unit absolutely demolishes things. In Aether Raids, on defense in particular, because of that sweep skill and all of the new armors that are coming out right now, this is your unit. Let's simplify this refine though. Now these have some conditions to it, but this always helps me just to look at a simplified version. Lunar Arc itself gives attack and speed plus 10, which is very nice. You get true damage equal to 25% of your foe's defense, and that adds on to AoEs as well. And you get offensive tempo, which is not something a lot of units get and is clutch when you're looking to proc Lunar Flash 2, which is key to how this unit works. Now, the last thing here is you get Wind Sweep, but a little worse. You have to do speed plus 5 on the foe. Still, you saw the speed that this unit can get up to. So you get reduction of defense and res of 20%. So it's like Luna, but not quite as good, but you get damage piercing, which is phenomenal. There are so many units that have that percent of reduction, and this unit just absolutely smashes them. Let's talk about Arena. First up, the conditions of the sim here. Now, I've given Alm Summoner Support and an Omni plus 6, and then all of these other units I've given an Omni plus 6 as well. What I really want to home in on, though, is the piece of Lunar Arc that is the Wind Sweep, and that helps you against so many units like Crom. There are a lot of units that have trouble with him because his defense is so sky high and he hits back so hard. What this is allowing you to do is hit once and then get that Lunar Flash off on the second hit. That does a number on both him and Deirdre. Looking at Deirdre, this is very important. You can't let Circle of Balance proc. Once you do that, you are in absolute trouble. But as long as you keep that from happening, you're good to go. Asker and Robin are an example of why you really need that Water Sweep or Desperation, and we'll show what happens when you get that. But keep in mind, in Arena, you can get that through having a Dancer and Firestorm dance right now. I am still amazed at how bulky Robin is. I just don't get it. But anyway, Alm has enough oomph to take out Nana, which is nice. And of course, as long as you're hitting Claude before he hits you, he doesn't have that damage reduction. Legendary Faye is a different story, and we're going to go over a scenario where this unit wins against her, but Faye is designed to go against units like Alm, so keep that in mind. So, without further ado, let's look at a quick replay. This is against Julia and company. You have both Julia and Nana here. And of course, this is Arena, so all of these units are plus 10. Now, the way this is set up, I have Crom to give the extra cooldown, and then I have Peony with Firestorm Dance to get Desperation. That is something that is very handy for Alm in particular. But understand that even if you don't have that, this unit can perform on a high level and do very well. The Alm that I'm using in this case, I mean, you're seeing the kit. Like, this is not a decked out Alm at all. Not even close. This is base kit. This has none of the skills that you're going to be able to get on this unit, and this is plus 2. So keep that in mind as you're watching this replay, but also see that this unit is taking care of this team handily. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next matchup, which is the one I really want to talk about because this is Legendary Faye. Now, the reason why Katria is so key to how Alm works is because of the 2 hits in a row. Combined with the tempo, that means that Lunar Flash hits on the second hit and things go poorly for your opponent. You're seeing this right off the bat. I'm trying to take out Faye, and I can't because I don't have the right things. The strategy is then to go all the way around and try to pick off units. One of the things I want to mention in Arena is how nice it is to have a sweep effect. There are so many situations where you can get yourself into trouble, and being able to pull that out, even if it's just wind sweep, is absolutely critical. When you look at Alm, even at low merges, squishy units just absolutely melt in front of them, which is very nice. The medium squishy units even fall to him, so that is also very nice. There's Crom, just the matchup that I was talking about, where since you have that sweep effect, you get to hit twice, all is well. Robin coming up, and female legendary Robin is just not feeling it. So we wait, and we let Faye get lured into us running away and hoping that Faye comes straight down to. I hate this map so much. Anyway, all good. But it doesn't matter, because even on a defense tile, if we get to hit twice because of that desperation effect, Faye goes down. Summoners, that is a phenomenal matchup and shows you really the power of this unit. Let's move on to Aether Raids, because I think while I like Arena and I like this unit in Arena, there are some fun things we can go over in Aether Raids, and I think that's where this unit really shines, particularly on defense. Now, looking at the setup here, we have the same thing with Omni +6, but we have Catria support and we have Null follow-up. We're going to go a little more into the Catria support, but understand that with Catria, this unit is almost unstoppable. It is absolutely nuts. When we're talking about Far Saviors, we'll go over Omni tanks in just a second. So we've got a res and a speed-based mythic coming in and helping out. We have all of the elite Far Saviors in here at +1, because that's normally what you're going to see them as. Each of these units has an Omni +6, and since they're on offense, they get summoner support, then they get speed from Plumeria and Elamine, and attack from Sather. But look at the results. Like, that is absolutely insane. Now, that is with triangle attack, but still, it is not a given that your nuke is going to be able to take out every unit, even with triangle attack. That is just not the case, and this unit has that ability to take out some very, very elite opponents. Moving down, I want to go into some examples of how this works, because sims are really nice, but it is always best to test and see how these things go in the real world. First, we have young Hector, who I think all of us have experienced young Hector by now. Armored Beacon has absolutely changed the way things work, and we're having to reevaluate how things are done. One of the nice things with young Hector is the fact that we get that sweep effect, though. So we're going to get all set up here. I did this at least 70 times to make sure that this would all go smoothly. Things come down. Now, Alm is not going to be able to take out Hector here, but that's okay, because that is a huge hit to the health. Even with healing now, everyone is out of position, and we get some very key units free that before were not available. In particular, that's where triangle attack comes into play. You can see Maria takes over and finishes the unit off that only had 6 HP at the end of this. Summoners, that is with triangle attack turned off at the beginning, but because everyone was able to stick around because of the sweep effect, that means that turn 2 was too hard for this team to take on. That is exactly what you want. We're going to go over some different units here, though, and next up we have the newest of the units in Bridal Tiki. Now, this is interesting. This is playing a little game, and understand that the reason this is going to work is because of Maria. Also understand that this is only a +0 Bridal Tiki, but I think this is going to work against just about anyone. What this is allowing me to do is it's going to allow me to get both my hits off using the Drive Miracle. So you're coming in, you're hitting the first time, Tiki took away Lunar Flash that was already procced, but it's back. And because of full null follow-up, the unit just absolutely gets smashed. Summoners, that is a premier nuke that just came out as of this recording a couple days ago. And this is an old legendary who has the worst kit imaginable. Swift Sparrow 2 is coming in and still performing. That is what you want from your nuke. Like that is it. This is perfect for holoforms. Let's look at one more thing because this isn't all roses. And hats off to the Discord for bringing this to my attention. That speed is a lot, but the speed of the current Omni tanks right now is so ridiculous that it's a bit too slow to go up against a lot of them, which is nutty. But the other thing that Lucia has that other units don't is denying that special. Once that happens, it is fairly easy to take the unit out. So you are going to have some complement to Alm to be able to take on the Omni tanks that are so prevalent in the meta right now. Just understand that. For slower units and for even medium fast units, Alm is your boy. He's going to absolutely smash things. For fast units like Omni tanks, you're going to need a complementary piece to him. Moving on to Summoner Duels. Now, I don't have the same matchups here brought up. Understand that Summoner Duels matchups and Aether Raids defense matchups are fairly similar. They have a lot of the same restrictions and they end up with a lot of the same results. So I didn't bother with all of those. I do want to show you here, and this is from a friend of the channel, Hundley. Thank you so much for letting me borrow these. He took his plus 10 Alm out for a stroll. And of course, this is attack speed, Hexblade, and Water Sweep. We've talked about that. Water Sweep is a very good skill on this unit, and probably something you're going to want to inherit to him after you've got everything else. But since that's in the 4-star pool, don't go for that for the holoforms. We get all set up, and then on to Brave Hector with, again, 4 hits is a lot, and that's a scenario that is not hard to set up in Summoner Duels. So this is one of the premier saviors, and Alm is just absolutely leveling the unit. And this is a unit that you can get through a Forma. That is phenomenal. I can't say that enough. Let's move on to, I feel like I'm picking on her, but you know, she's new, so this is the Tikis. Warms my heart. I know everyone doesn't have all their kits, but this is still a really good look at how this matchup goes. Watching everything get set up, this is the up-and-coming Summoner Duels map for SDS, so you can start preparing for that already. But yeah, here comes Alm with all of the things and a +1 Tiki with attack res unity and just gets smashed. Summoners, there isn't really a unit that does well surviving. There isn't a savior that does well surviving against Legendary Alm. He is a very good unit. There are a few that can outspeed him with absolutely maximum investment. Anankos comes to mind. Actually, Lucina is fairly fast, and if you get the right matchup, you can get that going. But again, those units take a ton of investment, and they are few and far between. So, have I convinced you? Let's look at some holoform skills and what you should be aiming for. We're actually going to start on the right here on air defense, and this is the build that I will be going for. Now, Harsh Command Plus is nice in other modes like SD. It is a fantastic skill to have around. Understand that for a lot of rally traps, if you're looking at doing those, your Rally Plus skills are the way to go. So that is the either or on that. I am picking up Lunar Flash 2. You can get Ruptured Sky. You can get just about anything. The odds of you switching from Lunar Flash 2 are very low. So Ruptured Sky, Blue Flame, you can do either of those. You're just probably not going to use them. We have Attack Speed Finish is the skill that this unit sims the best with, period. Seal Speed 4, I would be picking up just for bonus unit things. If you're looking at the skill that this sims best with, it's actually that Lull Speed Defense 3 on the other skills column. Attack Speed Oath 4 is fantastic as long as you are able to get charges on this unit in some other way. Otherwise, aim for Times Pulse 4. Either of those are very good skills. What I will say is, in general, there are other ways you can get cooldown, and past Times Pulse 3, you're not using Times Pulse 4 just a ton. So Attack Speed Oath is going to be my pick just because you get additional attack speed and you get a buff on there and the Orders effect, which is phenomenal in both Aether Raids defense and Summoner Duels. Okay, so that's the build I'm going for. Moving to the middle here for other skills. White Cap Bow, I know it just counts feathers, but it's just so good. And on this unit is kind of interesting for something later that you can look at. The guaranteed double hit along with Lunar Flash does some really interesting things and can be a lot of fun. Just remember that you don't get that tempo effect because that is in his weapon. We already talked about Lull Speed Defense 3. The reason I would pause on this is because you likely have a skill that will work the same way in your barracks, and that is so much easier to get than something like Seal Speed 4 or Speed Preempt 3. As far as Times Pulse 4, we talked about it. It's almost more of a flex, but it's not a bad one. It's interesting to have around and can be very handy if you are on a team that uses this, that this unit is your prime nuke. But understand that, again, I would rather have Attack Speed Oath 4 on here. As far as the first column, the fun stuff, this is just other things depending on your use that can be handy, or if you have already invested in your Alm. You've got Attack Speed Unity, which can be argued in the current meta is better than both of these other A skills, but it is again dependent on the other team. I like the predictability, the sure thing with Attack Speed Finish 4, and the extra true damage is absolutely clutch. Speed Preempt 3 is honestly just fun. Infantry Null Follow-Up 3 is also one of those fun things. Understand another thing you could use here is Canto Control. Either of those are supportive things but can be very handy in both. Canto Control in particular is really handy in both ARD and Summoner Duels. It is something that is nice to have on a lot of units and can really come in clutch. Again, it depends on what you have and what you want though. Finishing this off, looking at the Earth season and where this unit ranks. This unit is a tier 1 unit, which is fairly high, especially in an Earth season, which is kind of stacked. Again, the reason this unit isn't tier 0 is because of the support that this unit needs. The thing you always want to look at is the scalability. Like, how much do I get from the support? And when you get a unit that is able to absolutely demolish things once you support them, that means they're probably worth it. All right, last up, I want to talk about upcoming Formas because this is interesting. This lets you know what you need to be saving for. I think this is probably best value for your Forma, period, just because of all the units, the things that Alm can do. But understand Julia is also a very good unit, and particularly against dragons who come and go in the meta, but Julia is an excellent nuke and is confirmed for July. Now, as far as speculation goes, I'm still a huge Leaf fan. I think Legendary Leaf got a much better refine than people give him credit for, and there is an argument that Legendary Leaf is one of the better Vantage units in the game, which is absolutely fascinating, and when his time comes around, we'll go over that build. Roy is the favorite of so many folks, and as a hybrid Gale Force hit and sit unit, August is coming, and I think that's a really fun unit. One of my personal favorites and a bit of a Swiss Army knife that's kind of a sleeper is Hector. And again, this is speculation, but looking forward to September, I think with some premium skills, I'm looking at you, Armored Beacon, this unit can do a lot of damage and be a ton of fun. So keep this in mind for your budgeting. One last thing, thank you to all the members for your support. If you would like to become a member, you can do so and support the show, but I appreciate just a thumbs up. And Summoners, take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.